Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're digging into a concept that is going to completely shift how you look at the world, and honestly, how you look at your wallet. It's called Beyond the Paycheck, the Ownership Tax Advantage. We are going to unpack exactly how wealthy individuals interact with the tax system. And you know what? It turns out the rules they play by are just completely different from what most of us are taught growing up. So let's just dive right in and decode the rules of a game you might not even realize you're playing. Think about this for a second. You work, you get paid, taxes come out, and you spend whatever is left over, right? For the vast majority of us, that's just the undisputed reality. It's that repetitive cycle of everyday life. You put in the grueling hours, the government takes its share right off the top before the money even hits your bank account, and then, well, you just try to make your life work with whatever's left. We just accept it as an absolute truth. But is that really just how life works for everyone?
Well, here is where the disruptive twist comes in. Look at this comparison. On the top, you've got the standard path. An employee works for a paycheck, gets taxed immediately, and spends the rest. But check out the bottom path. For the wealthy, assets generate income, and then that income is taxed. The fundamental structural difference here is absolutely massive. See, the wealthy aren't playing the top game and just cheating the system. They aren't magically making taxes disappear. They're actually playing a completely different game altogether, simply because they earn their money differently. Understanding this one difference, that's the key to everything we're covering today.
Okay, moving to section 1, the employee loop, or as it's often called, the hamster wheel. This is a cycle most of us know incredibly well. You work, you earn an income based on that specific work, you get taxed on those earnings, and you spend what remains. It operates exactly like a hamster wheel. Why? Because to get more money, you literally just have to run faster. You got to work harder, put in way more hours, maybe try to fight for a promotion. But the catch is, the harder you work and the more income you earn, the more tax you end up paying. Now, to be totally clear and impartial here, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this system. It provides structure, it provides predictability. But the absolutely crucial point is that it's only one path. Let's look at the alternative in section 2. Earning through ownership, a totally different income source. So instead of selling time for a paycheck, wealth is built through ownership. Wealthy individuals focus their time and energy on owning businesses, holding investments, acquiring real estate, or owning shares in the stock market. All of these things are assets. And because these are completely different sources of income compared to your standard W-2 salary, they get an entirely different tax treatment. Our tax system simply wasn't built only around standard employee salaries. It was actually built to incentivize investment and business building. And man, that changes the math completely. Which brings us to section 3, the power of deductions. Honestly, it's the word nobody really understands. Let's ground this concept of asset-based income in some hard, indisputable numbers so you can really see it. Imagine you're running a business that brings in $100 of income. But to actually generate that income, you had $30 in business expenses, maybe buying a new piece of software or a laptop. You do not pay tax on the full 100. You subtract the $30 of expenses, and you only pay tax on the remaining $70. That $30 subtraction, that's a deduction. Regular employees, whose taxes are yanked out before they even see their paycheck, usually have far fewer opportunities to legally deduct their life's operating expenses. And look, this isn't some hidden, shady secret. It is literally written directly into the rules of the tax code. All right, section 4, the real secret. And spoiler alert, it is not about zero tax. Most people just assume the big secret of the wealthy is that they dodge taxes entirely and pay absolutely zero. That just isn't true. Many wealthy people and corporations still pay millions, sometimes even billions of dollars in taxes. The real secret? It's the deliberate, chronological transition from selling your time to owning assets. They spend years, sometimes decades, actively moving their primary income source away from that employee loop we talked about and shifting it into the ownership loop. They are playing a long-term game of transitioning their entire financial foundation. The entire game changes when your money starts coming from what you own. I really want you to think about that for a second. Instead of your money coming from what you do, the hours you clock, the manual labor you perform, the time you sacrifice, it comes from the systems, the businesses, and the properties you hold. It's a complete paradigm shift in how a human being generates survival resources. When your income is separated from your physical time, the tax code just treats you differently. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Well, that's great for Elon Musk or Warren Buffett, but I'm just a normal person. But here's the truth. You do not need to be a billionaire. You don't need to fly private, and you certainly don't need a secret volcano lair to take advantage of these rules. This is not exclusive to the ultra elite. It's simply a different set of mechanics that literally anyone can choose to start applying, no matter what scale they're starting at.
So let's talk about how we do that in Section 5, learning the rules and playing the game.
How do everyday people actually begin this journey? Well, it starts with understanding how money works through active education, just learning the basics. From there, it's about learning to invest, starting super small if necessary, and moving capital into things that actually grow. That allows you to build assets, whether that's a weekend side hustle, an investment portfolio, or starting a business to unlock the power of those deductions we talked about. Ultimately, it requires breaking the psychological grip of the hamster wheel. Thinking beyond the next paycheck is exactly how everyday people begin to think like asset owners.
As we wrap this up, it is incredibly crucial to emphasize one thing. This is not about hating rich people for having an advantage, and it is absolutely not about avoiding taxes illegally. We're taking a completely neutral, objective look at how the system is literally engineered. Most wealthy individuals are not entirely tax-free. They simply take the time to study and understand a set of rules that most people completely ignore. They use legal frameworks designed to stimulate economic growth to their advantage. So instead of asking, why did they pay less? The real question we should all be asking ourselves is, why were we never taught how the system actually works? Because let's face it, you can't play a game if nobody ever explains the rules to you. Well, now it's your turn to start learning those rules and building your own assets. If this explainer helped change the way you look at money, please hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and drop a comment below letting me know your biggest takeaway. Keep learning, keep building, and I'll catch you next time.